Okay, so obviously this deserves a video, so here I am. Hey guys, welcome back. Long time no speak or hear. So by now we've all heard about what happened at the Oscars between Will Smith and Chris Rock. If you haven't heard, it's fairly recent, so no surprise there. So I'm gonna give a quick summary, and I'm just gonna say a couple of things about what I think about all of this. Everybody's giving their take, and I've got my own opinion that I want to share. Okay, so before I get started, I just want to say that I'm going to speak more on what I think about comedians believing that they can say whatever they want about anyone and suffer no consequences. And I'm not going to speak so much on the events itself, but I'm just going to give a very quick summary. Okay, so here goes. We've known for a while now that JADA has alopecia, and she's talked about it before, like maybe a couple of years back. And she talked about how she used to have gorgeous hair and now she's losing her hair and she has alopecia, and it's a very painful subject for most people that suffer it because there's no cure, especially if it's very severe to the point where you have to shave off all of your hair. So it's a sensitive subject, right? So she's talked about it before, and then she talked about it again recently and how it's affected her. And, it's this whole big, serious thing for her. And obviously, Will Smith has to, console her, and he's the one who has to be there and watch her go through the pain and everything, right? Now, common sense tells us that if someone is suffering through something, you don't use that as a joke and poke fun at them. Like, that's something we learned since kindergarten. But you know what? I guess some people never learned that. But anyway, Chris Rock got on stage at the Oscars and he decided to poke fun at Jada's haircut because Jada's hair is super low now. And he decided to poke fun at her in the presence of Will Smith and the entire people at the Oscars and the entire Smith family. And he talked about how she's going to be featuring in G.I. Jane, because G.I. Jane is a movie where the lead actress shaved her entire head. And it was a very insensitive joke that he would make, knowing that her shaved head is as a result of a health problem that she does not have control over. So, of course, Will Smith got very upset and calmly strode up to the stage and slapped Chris Rock. And Chris Rock was surprised and everybody was shocked. And Will Smith basically told Chris Rock to stop talking about his wife, Jada.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
And then later on, we also saw that Will Smith had a talk with Denzel Washington, and Denzel also had a talk with Chris Rock, and Denzel also had a talk with Jada, and it seemed like everything was sort of calmed down a little bit, and Will Smith did come by on stage, during his speech and give an apology to the whole occasion and as far as how things transpired. And he said a couple of things, an advice that Denzel offered him, and it was just, I think, a mature way of ending the night rather than him leaving there super angry. And later on we saw him partying, and it was like it was like nothing happened, right? Okay, so long story short, Chris Rock made a joke about Jada and he was slapped by Will Smith at the Oscars, and people are going to be talking about it for a very long time. Now, here's what's been happening after that, there's been a lot of people that's been coming out and saying that comedians should be able to make jokes without fear of consequence. Basically, they're saying that comedians should be able to say whatever they want and just get away with it scot free. And even Kathy Griffin, she said, she was quoted as saying, "Let me tell you something. It's a very bad practice to walk up on stage and physically assault a comedian. Now we all have to worry about who wants to be the next Will Smith in comedy clubs and theaters." And she said that, and she posted that on Twitter. And a lot of people had some things to say, giving their opinion on the matter, and not everybody was on Will Smith's side, but I can tell you right now, most people are on Will Smith's side. Even people that are being quiet about it, especially other celebrities that can relate to Will Smith, and how his family was disrespected. They may not say it out loud, but a lot of celebrities can relate because this happens to them all the time. When bloggers talk about celebrities, a lot of the time they're either disrespectful or they're spreading false information. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's unintentional. Either way, it causes pain to the celebrities, right? So they can relate to Will Smith. So I will not be surprised if most celebrities, like the big celebrities that have tons of fans, like Will Smith and the Knowles, the Knowles family and Jay-Z as well, and people like that will probably be able to relate. Jay-Z's wife has been disrespected before on stage as well, and he was very upset about that. So they can definitely relate, and they may not say anything, but I can almost guarantee you that they probably support what Will did. Not that they necessarily support violence, but sometimes you just got to live through someone who's bold enough to do something that you really want to do, but you restrain yourself from doing. And I think they did that. Okay, now here's what I think about, first of all, Chris Rock making a joke and comedians feeling like they can make a joke about anything and everything under the sun and suffer no consequence. That is so beyond ridiculous, and I don't know why people have tolerated this for as long as they have, because comedians do this all the time. They make fun of people, they don't care about the pain that they cause as they're making jokes and making money off of other people's pain. And they have always operated under this umbrella of, well, we're comedians, we're just making jokes, we poke fun at everyone, including ourselves, and we should be able to make fun of anything without anyone getting upset. And I'm just like, how is it that as an adult, you still don't realize that it is not okay to use someone's pain to make fun of them and to make money off of it? How do they not know this? This is something everybody learns when they're kids from high school. And the fact that they try to justify it, and actually they usually come together and they all try to justify the fact that they actually believe that nobody should get upset when a comedian makes fun of them. Comedians make fun of women all the time. They make fun of big people all the time, the LGBT sometimes, and just anyone that they feel like is an easy target, they try to make fun of them. And for so long they've been getting away with it. Not that this is going to stop that from happening, but at least this sends a message that, listen, there are certain things you simply should just leave alone and not use that as a material for your joke. It is one thing if Chris Rock made this joke at some random event where Will or his family weren't there, and he just sort of, he maybe made it to maybe a smaller crowd or just in some small city somewhere, or but not at the Oscars. in the presence of the man and his wife and his kids. And it's like, come on, what reaction do you expect? If you want to disrespect someone, you better be hiding somewhere. You can't, you have to be somewhere that they cannot reach you. Maybe they don't know where you are or something. You cannot be in the same room as a man, disrespect his wife, and think that he's just going to sit there and smile with you while you make a name for yourself and make a bunch of money and you get pats on the back. I don't know why Chris Rock is still doing this kind of a thing, but apparently, I don't know. He hasn't not had enough of his fame and money, and he still needs to do stuff like this. I don't know, but he decided to do that in the presence of Will Smith, and he got slapped. And I do not condone violence. I really don't. But I wish I can say that I feel bad for Chris. I really wish I can say it, but you know what? A part of me is a little bit glad that he was taught a tiny lesson on what happens when you run your mouth too much and you have to face the consequence of that. And this may come as a surprise to you guys, but honestly, I think that Chris Rock has had this slap coming since 2016 when he made fun of Jada for being upset that Will did not win an Oscar for concussion. This is what he said.
Jada's mad her man, Will, was not nominated for concussion. I get it. I get it. Tell the truth. I get it. I get it. You get mad. She said it's not fair that Will was this good and didn't get nominated. Yeah, you're right. It's also not fair that Will was paid $20 million for Wild Wild West, okay? Okay?
So yeah, some people just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you are forced to teach them a lesson, and then suddenly you're made to look like the bad guy. By the way, do you guys notice how these comedians that claim to make fun of everyone and everything and have the rights and nobody should get upset, do you guys notice how they don't use their own misfortune as material? Not really. I mean, they might talk about their childhood and some things that happened to them that's not too bad, but do you guys notice how they don't use the really terrible things like the death of their parents or their own medical conditions? Like, they're not all healthy, they'll have medical issues. Why don't they use that as material for their comedy? Why don't they use their broken marriages or their kids that may be on drugs or they themselves suffering from a drug problem, their infidelity, their car accident, which they have to run away from in secret? Yes, I'm talking about Kevin Hart, even though he's not as bad, as, some of these other comedians at this kind of a thing. But why don't they use their own misfortune and their relatives' misfortune as material? Why do they have to pick someone who's not a member of their family and feel like that person has to just sit there and deal with it? It does not make sense. I don't agree with it. A lot of people are posting what they think about it. Soulja Boy seems to be supporting Will Smith. He posted a funny comment. Nicki Minaj was talking about how Chris Rock should not have used Jada's health problems as material for his joke. And it's like, this is common sense. It is not okay. However people try to look at it, however they try to twist it, it is not okay to use people's health issues as material or as an insult or anything like that. Like, they shouldn't even talk about it at all. So yeah, that's all I have to say on this. Hopefully Chris Rock has learned his lesson. He has not filed any charges. I doubt if he will file charges because, I mean, he knows he's in the wrong. And he basically is the reason why all of this happened. And yeah, Will Smith ended up winning an Oscar. So honestly, I think it was a win for Will. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a man getting upset and defending his family, He might have used a different method, but as far as his intent, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. People are just so used to disrespecting a man's family and having the man do nothing about it that they're not used to seeing this kind of a thing where a man actually gets really angry and reacts when his family is disrespected. But I'm sure Chris Rock has learned his lesson. I doubt that he saw this happening. I don't think it was planned. I read somewhere that it may have been planned. I don't think it was planned. Will Smith's reaction when he was given an apology, I don't think it was planned at all. And with the talks that Denzel had to have with them, like, no, they wouldn't do that. So yeah, that's all I have to say on this. Thank you guys for listening. See you in my next one. Bye guys.